All right, it is 7/6/23, and we have yet another Twisted Masquerade 7th year anniversary Shrine of Secrets. Today, we got about 13 hours left on it. It's a little more than half a day. So if you want to pick these up, still plenty of time to do so. And we've got some solid perks, some solid and some fun ones here. The ones that aren't super solid are definitely a lot of fun, and a majority of these are very solid perks. So we'll pull up our little pen here to jot down our thoughts. But we'll go over them real quick. The killer perks we have are a Blight perk, Hex Undying, and what this does is two things really. It reveals survivors within 4 meters of a Dull Totem, so you can get a nice bit of order reading off of this. And then it also, whenever another Hex Totem is cleansed, it transfers to the Undying Totem, so it protects your other hexes. So very powerful effect, and that bonus order reading is nice as well. So this pairs up with a number of perks. The biggest one is probably Devour Hope. So you're trying to get those one shots and those Mories, but it can make Ruin last longer. It can give you extra procs of Undying, pair with Retribution, all sorts of different things that you can do with this. Some of the hexes we covered the other day was that Crowd Control and Haunted Grounds. So yeah, lots of hexes this can pair up with. Just a very solid, very strong perk. The tough thing is that kind of the power of hexes kind of ebb and flow depending on how much people are cleansing totems, how much they're seeing totems, hex totems, how many boons are being run. Now might be a pretty good time because I think you're seeing a lot less boons than you have in the past with the recent nerf to Circle of Healing. So I think this is one of those where it definitely is a little bit built around, but it's definitely in that kind of just off meta tier. So we'll say meta or just off meta. And it is kind of built around, right? So it's in between that first and second tier. You're gonna have to run other hexes, or else this really doesn't do a whole lot. Some very weak uh, aura reading, but you do have to build around a little bit. But it's a very solid perk. It is Blight perk, so you could unlock Blight with your iridescent shards and then spend blood points to get the perks. But if you don't plan on playing Blight and you're looking to grab specific perks, Undying is definitely a good one to pick up. So we'll circle this one here. This is one that we definitely would suggest picking up if you're not going to unlock it the old fashioned way with Blight. Our second then killer perk, we'll kind of hide this real quick, is Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, which is, I think, hit 2 nerfs or 2 reworks. Still strong. Used to be a lot stronger, but we're not talking about the old Pain Res, which was probably the best perk for killer out there. But the current form, there's Scourge Hooks around the map when you equip a Scourge Hook perk. There's 4 of them, so you've got to use these hooks that are seen in white auras, and basically you get 4 tokens, 1 for each survivor. Each time you hook them for the first time, the generator with most progress explodes, loses 25% progress, and you'll hear a scream if somebody is on that gen. So just some very solid gen regression throughout the game. You can try to kind of get one early enough where you stop that first gen from popping, and then kind of use them at convenient times throughout the game. So solid perk, very strong, right? That's a whole gen worth of regression throughout the match. So it's solid, but not as good as it used to be, but still very solid, still very meta. So funny how it can be nerfed twice and it can still absolutely be meta. It is an artist perk, so again, can spend the eerie shards on artist and then unlock it the old-fashioned way. But if you're just looking for some strong regression, don't want to play artist, then pick this one up as well. So that's another positive one, and this one is just straight up meta, strong regression. So solid killer perks right there. You want to have both those in your arsenal eventually. How you go about that is up to you. But again, Eerie Shards to buy these 25% off during the event, great deal. Or if you're going to play the killers or want some of the other perks, you can use the Eerie Shards on these behavior IPs and unlock them the old fashioned way. But solid perks. We'll show builds with both of these, but they're pretty self explanatory. So that brings us to our survivor perks. We've got a Jonah perk and we've got an Elodie perk. So the Jonah perk is Boon Exponential. So it's a boon. You got a boon a totem, a dull totem, and then within a 24-meter range, survivors can recover 100% faster and fully recover from the dying state. So it's that unbreak boon. can be very strong, right? That effect is very solid. You have to be within the boon. The boon has to be up. So it's a little bit more hoops to jump through for everyone to be able to use it and to be able to use it multiple times. So a lot of times you're just going to be bringing Unbreakable, but this can be good, especially if you're running any other boons, and also in certain builds where you're trying to make yourself unhookable and you need a way to get up off the ground when they slug you. You can definitely run this. So this one is more niche, but it's one of those where I think it's somewhere between our second and third tier. So we'll kind of give this a build around slash meme category there. It's strong, right? It's a powerful fact being able to pick yourself up from being slugged and all your teammates to be able to do that as well as many times as you want, as long as the boon's up. Very powerful. It's just situational. So that's one that we consider if you like running boons, but it's more of a maybe for us. And again, like the killer perks and the other survivor perk, they can also be unlocked by the web with blood points after you unlock the survivor or killer with your iridescent shards. That brings us to our last perk, which is Power Struggle, which is probably the most fun one on here. And basically what this does is whenever you are in the dying state, you see the aura's available pallets while being carried by the killer. If you've reached 20% wiggle progress, you can activate Power Struggle and drop nearby pallets to stun the killer. This pairs up with a lot of other perks like tenacity, unbreakable, basically anything that can help you recover faster and get to a pallet. You just have to hit 20%, and then you can drop the pallet on the killer and free yourself. So this works real well with at least one other survivor friend in a Swift. You just need enough time to have them distract the killer so you can get the 20% wiggle progress, uh, usually by recovering and then transferring that over with other perks like flip flop. Uh, so that kind of all works together, but it could be a lot of fun. And also just catching the killer with it a couple times a game, just out of the blue, could be a lot of fun as well. I know from both sides, Survivor side, I've had a ton of fun using this as a killer. When it hits you out of the blue, you just have to chuckle. It's funny. It's a lot of fun. So that is one of those perks where it is more meme, but and you do have to build around it. So we're gonna put the meme at the top rather than build around. So it's more meme, and you have to build around it, but it's a lot of fun. So that's one that if it appeals to you, then it may be something that's worth picking up just to have some fun with. So we've got some solid ones. The killer ones you definitely want to have, and then this one is kind of a ton of fun. We consider that just for the fun picking up. And then Boon Exponential is kind of a maybe. So those are our thoughts right here. We got some good ones this week. We're going to jump over to some builds real quick, and then we'll come back for a final summary. So we're going to jump to just Clown. Clown's a basic M1 killer here. As you can see, a couple different builds here. You can just throw Pain Res in, right? Paired up with some info, some chase perks, some other regression, and boom, it's strong. It's going to do its job. You don't have to get too fancy with that. Now, when it comes to Undying, Undying is more build around. Here's an example of Undying with Haunted Ground, Devour Hope. It's going for an exposed build, but you can also run Undying with some other builds as well. I think maybe on Trickster I might have one here. You get Undying here to keep Blood Favor up. You keep crowd control, other chase hexes up. It's just a solid perk. If you're going to run any hexes, you want to have the option of having Undying in your pool of perks. Now, when it comes to Survivor perks, we said Boon Exponential is more of a maybe. That one you can do some very mean builds with. But the one we want to talk about is Power Struggle. And I think we might have a build on either Elodie or Ash. So I don't know what the heck we were running here. We were running something strange there. So we don't have one here. We'll check Ash. If not, we'll throw one up here. So we try and do some middleman stuff. But like we said, you can run Power Struggle. Boom. We'll throw up Flip Flop. So Flip Flop here, while in the dying state, 50% of your recovery progress is converted over to Wiggle. So you get some recovery. You get that 20% wiggle, and boom, you're in good shape to actually use Power Struggle. And then perks like Unbreakable helps if we actually type it into the box. Also helps if we spell it. Unbreakable, and maybe something like Tenacity helps as well. So now you're recovering faster, right? 35%, crawling while you're doing it. Then you can convert it over and use Power Struggle. So more build around me, but very fun. And you get a lot of laughs out of this. I like to run this kind of build with Flashlight and then pair up with a teammate running the same exact thing. And what that allows you to do is one of you goes down, gets to the pallet, starts recovering. The other one harasses them with a flashlight, then runs away. When they come to pick you up, boom, you're up. If they just leave you, then you at least have Unbreakable once to get you up, or you can use Tenacity to get the heck out of there. So lots of fun. Uh, we got some perks coming out with Nicolas Cage that might pair up with this as well. But this is kind of the best Power Struggle build that we can kind of recommend right now. So we'll hop back to the store for our final summary, and then we'll let you guys get on with your day. So we will throw up our thoughts again one last time. But killer perks, they're meta or just off meta. Very quality. For running Hexus, you want Undying as an option. Scourge Pain Resonance is just fantastic. Pick those up one way or another, either the shrine or unlocking them with characters. And then when it comes to the survivor perks, if you're trying to be unhookable and sabo a lot, you can definitely run Boon Exponential in those kind of builds. And then if you're just trying to get some meme plays off, dropping pallets on killers when they pick you up, Power Struggle is a lot of fun. So we can recommend all of these. These are kind of your primary options if you're limited on iridescent shards. This is your most fun option, but good options, quality shrine today. So we're gonna mess around with some of these. We may have a video up later showcasing some of these builds if we get them to work. But anyway, I'm Smig. I appreciate you guys stopping in. Hopefully you learned something, got some information, can help make an educated decision on how to use your iridescent shards. And hopefully we see you in the comments on our stream or sometime in the fog. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out. But again, we hope to see you guys in the future. Take care.